Hello. This is Gresh here, and I'm recording this a little bit differently. Usually, I record in the early morning. I'm recording a little bit more midday, right before I actually do some podcast recordings. And there wasn't any specific reason I wanted to do this differently. Just kind of like the day got away from me. So I wanted to do a quick update. Really, today is a lot of strategic planning time to meet with the team for Blue 16 marketing. And I haven't really had as much time as I wanted to kind of focus on Blue Star, the franchise brokerage. However, I have been really focused on making sure that I am intentional on how I'm going to spend that time. With the strategic planning, a lot of times it provides some space for me to kind of work a little bit more on the business rather than in the business. And it's so important to make sure that you create that time, that space. Some people call it CEO time, but whatever you might call it, it's so important to make sure that you are thinking more working on the business rather than in the business, even if it's just an hour, even if it's just 30 minutes, for you to think strategically about what you're doing to kind of get ahead while you're actually rolling up your sleeves and you're doing all the things. So Mondays is usually my day to kind of focus a little bit more on that. It just allows my mind to kind of race, to go through those different things. It ends up becoming sometimes an exhausting thing because you're thinking about all the things in the future when you're trying to also just make sure that you're being present. And to try to juggle all those things ends up being something that can be taxing. But I marry those with the opportunity to be in my podcast mode, because a lot of times I get to do those quote unquote more fun things, I guess you can say, related to the business. But you have to really think strategically about the business. So I feel like I have a really strong three business types, and really just trying to bring all those things together, how to think strategically around how that's going to be and come to fruition. So whether it be CB Nation and all the content that we create from the daily podcast, blogs, video content, or it is the digital marketing company, or of course now the franchise brokerage, I feel like those three are very much so intertwined, so that it makes us better able to be able to serve the CEOs, entrepreneurs, business owners. I actually heard the phrase, and I've heard it a few times, but it actually was said to me, and I can't remember who said it to me, but basically trying to create a flywheel. That flywheel has many different aspects that are very much so intertwined to be able to kind of serve that B2B space. So I'm super excited to kind of employ that flywheel, kind of see like exactly how it takes shape. But frankly, it has to and is going to require like a refresh of a lot of the brands and things that we're doing. So that's also very exhausting, just kind of thinking about that and what that's going to look like. But that's exactly why we do the things that we do, why we have to pivot and change, because we're chasing the ability to be able to succeed, chasing the ability to be able to serve, to make an impact, and of course be able to generate more revenue. So when we're trying to do all of those things, it's so important that we're dialed into what is going to help to serve our client and audience. And as we have other members of the team, it's also so important for me to make sure everybody's dialed in as far as like the things that are actually helping to solve problems to make us a better organization. So that could get exhausting when you're trying to have those conversations, when you see all those things and you have to kind of have that go throughout the team. But that's part of like why you are in the position that you're in. You're trying to create a kind of a plan or a strategy that you want the team to execute, and it's so important to kind of stay dialed into that, which is why it's vital to have that CEO time, that strategic planning, whatever and however you might call it, essentially working more on the business than in the business. You create space for that. It allows you to employ those things that you need to be successful. So this is my CEO time. I wanted to make sure that I emphasize that, because as you start to work less in the business, you're going to create more space to work on the business, and what that looks like in terms of solving big problems, thinking strategically about the business, thinking about ideas, and being able to kind of implement those. Those are going to be huge things that you're going to want to make sure that you do. So with that being said, it's Gresh signing out. Yeah, make sure you keep working and thinking about on versus in the business and how that can help you to kind of take things to another level. It's one of the cool things about franchises, is allow you a lot of times to be able to do more time towards working more on the business. But frankly, there are a lot of people that are still working in the business, and that's something you just want to kind of understand with your vision of what you want to have within your organization, in your life, frankly, and then kind of work backwards from there.